All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the Surfside PPC YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be going over Facebook ads location targeting. So some of the different types of locations that you can target, how you can save locations so when you create future audiences, and pretty much everything you need to know about location targeting with your Facebook advertising campaigns. So we're going to start here in Facebook Ads Manager. And if we come over here, you click on the menu up in the top corner and you go to Assets and Audiences. So we're going to be in this page as we go through everything. So what we're going to do first is we're going to come here to create audience and we're going to come to saved. So the first thing I want to go through is when you see here for location targeting, you can see if we click on this drop down, there's 4 different options that you can start with. So you can do every single person in the location, people who have a home or live in that location, people recently in that location, and people traveling in that location. So just to scroll over here real quick to get more detailed. So for people traveling, it's people whose most recent location was within the area that you're targeting, but their home is more than 125 miles or 200 kilometers away. For people recently in that location, it's going to be people whose most recent location is within the area that you're targeting. People who live in the location, so people whose home, condo, apartment, anything like that is in that selected area. And then everybody in that location is going to be anybody whose home or most recent location. So pretty much everyone involves all 3 of these locations at the bottom. So if you want to target everybody in a specific location, you would use this. If you just want to target people who live in that location, you use this one right here. So for example, with people traveling in this location, I've used this example in the past, but let's just say, for example, we're a Myrtle Beach attraction. So we want to target people who are currently traveling in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. What we can do is just say people traveling in that location, and we can set our location here to include, and we'll just do Myrtle Beach. And you'll see it'll give us a few different options here, but we'll say Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and it's automatically going to say Myrtle Beach plus a 25-mile radius. So it's going to do a 25-mile radius right around the center of the city. So you can narrow that down a little bit. You can go anywhere down to 10 miles all the way up to 50 miles. So if we do 50 miles, it's going to be anybody traveling within this 50-mile location. If you're something like an attraction, you might just want to say anybody within 20 miles, anybody within 15 miles, and we want to target that. So we'll just say anybody within 15 miles. So anybody in this area that's currently traveling in the area, we want to target them with our advertisements. So hopefully they'll come to our attraction, buy tickets, do whatever they need to do. So this is one option when you are targeting people, is to use people currently traveling in the location. Okay, so whenever you're creating your location targeting, you always want to start with this right here to make sure that you're either targeting everybody in or exactly who you want to target based on what they're currently doing in that area. So we'll just say everyone in this location for the time being. And now the other thing you can do is when you are adding locations here, you can start by just going to browse, and it's going to give you countries, regions, or any of your saved locations. So I'll go through saved locations in a second. If you click on countries here, it's going to pull up some large areas, basically continents, and then some other large areas across the world, really. So you have Africa, Asia. So we can see right over here, if we just click right here, it's going to target all the countries in Africa. Otherwise, what you can do is click on this drop down arrow and you can target individual countries here. You can also just type them in right at the top here, but if you're not sure where you want to target, if you want to target specific locations in Africa, you can do that right here. And the same thing with all these different areas. So if you want to target a specific area within any of these larger regions, you can do that there. And if you scroll over, even if you just look at something like Central America, you'll see over here on the right hand side the different countries that make up Central America. Same with Europe, North America. So you can easily target like this with countries. Otherwise, what you can do is click on regions here. So they have free trade areas. So if we open this, you're going to see European Economic Area, North America Free Trade Agreement. So any of these different free trade areas, if you want to target any of them there, you can. Now, if we keep coming down, they have App Store regions. So any regions where these app stores are available. So you can see the iTunes App Store, Android Paid Store. So if you're promoting an app, this might be useful for you. Emerging markets, so anybody who is in an emerging market, Argentina, Brazil, Chile, China. So all these different examples of countries you can also target. You can just target them up here in countries as well. They just have them separated down here in the regions area. Now the other thing is Euro area. So target people in Austria, Belgium, Cyprus, Estonia. So all these different options that you have here in the Euro area. So some different areas when it comes to regions and countries you can target this way. Now, the other thing you can do is save locations. So you can see here, I have a save location right here. So it's just TAC, it's Texas, Arizona, Colorado. So in order to create your own save location, what you can do is say create list, and let's just say location type. So these are all the different areas that you can choose from when you are targeting countries, regions, or states. DMAs, designated market areas, I'll go through those in a minute. Cities, postcodes, and specific addresses. So let's just say I'm using regions or states. It's going to tell you to enter a list here. So let's just say, for example, I want to target the tri-state area, and I want to save this location because I'm going to be using the tri-state area in follow-up advertisements and follow-up audiences that I'm creating. So we'll say New Jersey, New York, and Connecticut. And now what you're going to do is click on match locations, and it's going to give you these 3 different areas right here. And you can see save this list to use it again. And what we're going to do is click on add 3 locations, and then list name. What we're going to do is tri-state area. Click on save list. And now you can see here, we have this saved right here. You can edit this as well, or you can just quickly add this in follow-up audiences that you're creating, and it's going to target them right here. So just one example of how to create saved audiences. Now, the other thing you can do is if you don't want to save audiences, but you do want to add bulk audiences, is just come down here to add locations in bulk. So we'd click right here. Again, you're going to choose your location type. And now if we do regions or states, let's just say, for example, I want to target the West Coast. So I'm just going to say California, Oregon, and Washington. And we're going to click on match locations. What you're going to find is it might come up with more locations here. So you might have to go through this and remove some of these locations if it's not where you want to target. For example, Washington will match the state and also District of Columbia. So you just come over here, get rid of it. You would come over here, get rid of that, and then add the 3 locations. So just some different options when you are adding locations in bulk. This could be very useful, for example, for beachfrontdecor.com. I have a beach decor website. I try to target some of these different areas along the coast, a bunch of different cities, so I can reach people with beach homes. So when I do create a location where I'm targeting a lot of these cities and areas along the coast, I can save that location targeting. So then when I go through the process, it's not going to take me another 20 minutes. I can just save the list, and it's very easy to add those back into my campaign when I'm creating other audiences. So we're going to click on cancel here. Now, a few other things I want to go through. So you can see include here. If you click on the drop down, you can also exclude as well. Now, one thing to keep in mind is, let's just say, for example, I'm targeting New York. So we're going to target the entire state of New York. Now, let's say I want to exclude Buffalo. So what I can do is I can come over here and you're going to see include. What we're going to do is click on exclude here, and then we're going to type in Buffalo, and it's probably automatically going to pull up the DMA. So what we want to do is say, let's just say we exclude Buffalo DMA. So we're going to exclude the entire market of Buffalo. So we're going to click right here. What that's going to do is you're only going to target the area in New York that doesn't include this Buffalo DMA area. So if you do have an excluded area within an included area, then that's going to allow you to target the entire state of New York, so you don't have to actually worry about your ads running in the areas where you have excluded that targeting as well. So just one thing to keep in mind, if you do want to exclude a smaller area within a larger area, you can do that within Facebook ads as well. Okay, so one other thing I want to go through is DMAs, designated market areas. So if you go to Google and you just search DMA map, what you're going to get is this right here. So this is going to come up right at the top. You might get something else, but you can see it right here, thevab.com. I'll put this link in the description for this video so you can easily find it. But if we open it up, it's a PDF, and you can see all these designated market areas, which are essentially large markets. So you can see here's Atlanta, for example. They have Savannah down here, Columbia, South Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina, Lexington, Kentucky, Charleston, Huntington, West Virginia. So all these areas are actually considered designated market areas. So if you're coming over here and let's just say, for example, I want to target Columbia, South Carolina. If we zoom in a little bit on this map, what we can do is come over here. You can see some of these different markets that we can target here. So if I come back over to Facebook ads, what I can do is click on include, and you would just type it in, and you're going to see Columbia SC DMA. So that will allow you to target these larger regions as you set up the locations for your Facebook ads. So this can be very popular to run alongside television commercials. If you're running television in some major markets, then what you can do is also run Facebook ads. You can use DMAs and Google ads as well. So they have these available in some of the different advertising platforms. It's a very popular method of targeting if you're not familiar with what DMAs are. So I've used these in the past when I've targeted airports. So you can actually target the market where people are most likely to buy tickets for an individual airport. So that's another thing that you can do. So just keep in mind, you can target DMAs. Now we're going to get rid of this one real quick. And what we're going to do is, if we come to add locations in bulk, they have some of these different areas where you can target. So if we come to location type, Click on select. You can target countries, regions or states, DMAs, designated market areas. If you want to target a smaller region around, what you can do is cities. Now, two other options are postcodes and addresses. So let's just say, for example, we're going to do addresses, and let's just say we'll come over here real quick. We'll just find an address. Let's say Nashville BBQ restaurants. Okay, so we'll just use this top result. Let's just say this company contacts me. They want me to run their Facebook ads. What I can do is just set a radius around their address. So I can click on this, and what we're going to do is we're going to find their address right here. We're going to copy this address. We'll come back over to Facebook ads. You would just enter the address right here, or you can just enter the address for your business. And what it's going to do is it's going to match the location once we do it. You can also change the default radius right here if you want to. Let's just say I want to do a 15-mile radius around this area. Click on match locations. You're going to see it's going to have the address right there, Nashville, Tennessee. Add one location, and it's going to target a 15-mile radius right around that restaurant. So this is a great way to target. If you have a car dealership, for example, you just want to target maybe a 50-mile radius around the car dealership, or you want to keep it a little bit tighter, you can do that as well. Now, if you want to expand this a little bit, you can always come over here and drop a pin. So that's another option you have is, let's just say we want to drop a pin, and we'll click right here. You'll see you can expand your targeting outside of that bubble as well. So you can always increase these both to 50 miles and really target a large area around if you want to use more of a radius targeting option. Now we're going to get rid of these real quick, go over a couple other things. So if we click on add locations in bulk again, come to location type, and let's just say we're doing postcodes. So you're just going to enter a 5-digit postcode here. So let's just come back to Google and we'll say highest income zip codes. Okay, so you can see right here, 10 richest US zip codes. So what we can do is let's just take a few of these, we'll copy it, come back over here. You can easily add all these different postcodes here. You can also upload a file if you have a huge list of postcodes. But what we can do is we'll take that one, we'll come back over here, we'll take a couple more just so I can show you an example, and we'll just take one more here. So what we can do is come over here, copy and paste these postal codes. Default country will be United States for this example, and we're going to click on match locations. So it'll match these 3 locations. So now we have these 3 different locations based on the zip codes that we entered, and we can just click on add 3 locations. So you can see right here with postal code, it's going to add anybody who is within that postal code. So it's going to be a pretty small region here, as you can see, because postal code is going to be just a smaller area. Whereas if you're targeting an individual city or some of these markets, it's going to be much larger than if you're just targeting a postal code. So these are some of the different options that you have when you're targeting. Now, the last thing I really want to go through is you can drop pins around really small areas. So let's just say we come here, we're in New York City. Let's say I want to target right around Waverly Place. So I just want to target this little area right around here. What we can do is we're going to drop a pin. We're going to click right here on Waverly Place, and you can see it's going to automatically do 10 miles. We'll go down to 1 mile around that area. So you can see it's going to really expand this around. So one thing you can do is you can drop more pins and exclude. So if you click here, we'll click on exclude, and what we'll do is we'll drop a pin right outside of this bubble. So we'll drop one right outside here, and we'll take this, go down to 1 mile. We'll do it a few more times. So we'll drop another pin right around here and go down to 1 mile. Okay, so dropped a few more all around. Now you can see we're really just targeting this small area around. We can kind of adjust these a little bit if we want to, but we're making sure that we're really targeting this small region right here. So this is just another option that you have. It might work in a really populated area. Truthfully, it's not something I use really all that often. Usually when I'm targeting, it's an entire country, or you're targeting a region where a business sells its products or services. So this is location targeting in Facebook ads. Hopefully I've kind of gone over everything that you're looking for. You can include locations or exclude locations. You can exclude locations within one of your excluded locations, like I showed you with New York and Buffalo. You can target with a variety of options, whether it's countries. If you come here to browse, you can target countries, regions, and you can just use your saved locations. So if you have a location that you want to continue to use, you can just do that here. Now, the other thing you can do is drop pins. This is a very popular way to target. I've dropped pins around businesses plenty of times, and what you do is you just set your radius targeting around that business, so you're only reaching the people that live in an area right around that business who are going to be most likely to visit it. Now, keep in mind, if you do add a custom audience here, for example, let's just say you're adding a retargeting audience at the top here, and you include, and you just say something like New York. So you have New York, United States as your targeting here. What it's going to do is it's going to target everybody in your retargeting audience who is in New York. Or if you come over here and say people who live in this location, then anybody in your retargeting audience who lives in New York. So some different ways that you can target. Just make sure you keep in mind your location targeting. You want to make sure that you're only reaching people who are going to be interested in the products and services that you're selling. Now, if you sell e-commerce products and you're selling them to multiple countries, you can come here into locations and make sure you're targeting the countries anywhere where people are going to be relevant to your business. And you want to make sure that you don't have too large of a location targeting. Specifically, if you're a local business, you don't want to be targeting the entire United States. If, for example, you're just serving a small area, one city, you want to make sure that you're reaching the people within that city. And you can always just type here no matter what it is you're trying to target. So it doesn't really matter where you're trying to target. If we just come here and say, I want to target in Cincinnati, you type it in here, you're going to see Cincinnati, Ohio. You can also do this Cincinnati DMA, but if we do Cincinnati, Ohio, you can make sure you're just targeting this 25-mile radius around Cincinnati. Or if you want to keep it really tight, you just come all the way down here and let's say a 10-mile radius around Cincinnati. You're just targeting this small area of people, and you're making sure that the people who are going to be the most relevant for your advertisement are going to see your ads and hopefully interact with your business and spend their money with you, because ultimately that's the goal. So if you have any questions about targeting locations, excluding locations, saving locations, or how to add locations in bulk so you can easily save them as you create other audiences, make sure to leave them in the comments section. Thanks for watching my video today, and make sure you subscribe to the Surfside PPC YouTube channel.